Going on, guys? It's another late night session with the gaming nerd. I'm going to speak real quietly tonight because there are people sleeping in this house and I don't want to wake anybody up at the risk of my own health. I have an interesting project that I want to work on tonight. I mentioned this in another build, I think it was a Fugu, that I wanted to put some lights on the reactor. And this is more than just aesthetic. I want to be able to look at, like, if you've seen my condition indicator video, you know that where am I going with this? You know that it's important to be able to look at something and tell what its condition is right away. And the reactor is no different from any of the rest of these things. Now, reactors are fun because they exist in sci-fi for as long as going back as far as time. As long as sci-fi has existed, there's been engines, powerful things that tend to pulse and tend to give off energy, and we generally know that when those things start pulsing faster and when they start changing colors, that things are going to get very bad very quickly. They just go way back, like the early beginnings of sci-fi, all the way to like the new modern stuff. And even if it's not an engine, basically if it's pulsing and it's getting brighter, then things are getting bad. So we're going to try to mimic that today in Baro trauma. But I wanted to kind of go through my thinking process first, because I used to tell my students, no matter how big a project seems, it's just like eating an elephant, just one bite at a time. So we're going to start with the lighting and the opacity, because the lights have to blink, but I don't want to do more than just blink. I want them to breathe, I think is another term you see around online. So the rate at which they blink and the rate at which the sequence moves is going to be scalable, because we want to be able to control how fast it goes and make it relatable to something meaningful and relevant. And then we want to step away from just straight up blinking and move on to fading. This is where it becomes challenging, because I don't want to have it like just 5 or 6 values where it just steps through a sequence. As anybody can put in a regex dictionary and look up values and say from this range to this range go this fast. I want to make it smoothly transitioning, and of course I'm making things much more complicated than it has to be when I do this, but hey, what's life if it's not complicated? Also, fading needs to be scalable, not just the rate of which the blinking happens, but because there's less and less time for the fade to occur, the rate of fading will also need to be scaled. And then I thought of a distance, like, well, it's kind of boring if it's just, constantly blinking. So how about low energy levels? It just blinks like once, and then there's these gaps between when the blinks start, right? And so I don't know what I'm thinking of. I have this vision in my head, but I can't really say for sure where it's coming from. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, when you have really high rates of sequencing, if you don't have overlap, then the blinks are going to be very sharp and fast. Whereas if you allow for some overlap, then there's opportunity to become more natural, as far as natural blinking in a video game reactor can be. Then we got to work on the color, because I don't want it to just be one color, right? Everything, we go from green is good to red is bad. And again, we can use a regex dictionary to look up some RGB values if we want to. That's boring. I want to, again, come up with a color map sequence. I've done a little bit of working GIMP for this on advanced, but again, I want this to be nice and smoothly scalable. And again, I'm probably making my life far more complicated than it has to be. But you know what? Screw it. Why not? YOLO, right? That's what that means. You do video game stuff. Okay, so where are we? Well, we're gonna start with a blank canvas here. Let's see. We're gonna put some lights down. Doesn't have to be any light, just nothing special. Okay, now, fun fact: if you turn off the power requirement, making power requirement 0, then it will turn on without any help. Actually, I won't turn those off. No, sorry, turn it on, because we're not gonna blink them with on-off switches. We're gonna blink them with changing the color. It's one of my favorite tricks, is to make something just make it light with 0 opacity, and it's the same thing as having a light that's off. Right, looks the same. I'm just going to open these up here a little bit. Okay, 5 lights. Let's save this before I go any further. Okay, so what I want to do, put it in here, and here, and here, and here. And we're going to put another delay. You're going to see why here in a sec. So when we hit the button, actually we don't need one over here. We can just skip this one. This is I'm going to put this on a second, like a different line, so you'll see what I'm doing here. Signal out. Go up here. Yeah, I'm not expecting too many viewers tonight. Toggle state. And put that button into here. Also, toggle state. I guess I could put some music on in the background. Something that's probably really quiet, but if it's too loud, you guys let me know when you show up, if you show up. All right, where were we? Oh. Okay. So again, like, yes, I just said that we're not going to do scaling with, or do blinking with opacity. We're going to do with, or sorry, not going to use toggle, we're going to use opacity. But for now, we want to get the scalable blinking thing. Oh, I said I was going to do fading first. Screw it, we'll do the scalable part. All right, so right now, oh, that's a long delay on those. Is there a hull in here? Hope so. Yep, there we go. Give us some light to work in. Okay. So these delay components, I'm going to have a delay. Let's call it 0.5 for now. And call this one 0.25. So what those numbers mean, when I push this button, it's going to go in here. It's going to toggle this light on. It's also going to enter this delay component. The same signal is going to go into this delay component here and be delayed for a quarter of a second. Then it goes into this light and turns it off. And the same signal is going to go into here and turn this one off. Meanwhile, the blinking will have been progressing all the way up this chain. So let's see if this works like I expect it to. Hope it does. No, hang on here. First of all, we need to turn all these off. Or make the range like 20. Hey, Bear, Undertow, you want quality of life improvement? Be able to change the. That's neat. What happened there? Did I not connect that one to the other one? I didn't. Yeah, being able to change the range of a lamp in mid-game would be awesome. Can't do that now, though. Too bright in there. Let's see what's going on. So that's working as expected. That's the easy part. I'm gonna make them fade. I like this song. It's a good one. Okay, I was going to use a half Gaussian equation, which is probably more complicated than it needs to be, but we'll see what happens here. Okay, what we're going to need is a timer circuit first. Slating is going to be driven by this guy. With their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Doing this because we need to split up the fading time into bits and pieces so that we can calculate the intensity with each step. So what we need to do a little math to start with and how many steps we need. Set this to, hang on, we're gonna need a bunch of these. So we're gonna start, we're gonna have a still stack of these by the time we're done. Okay. Clock is not really the best term for it, but... And just so we know what we're looking at, let's see, put a time text display over here. With their nails done. Okay. So we need one called fade steps. Later on, we're going to calculate how many of these exactly we need because it's going to change over time. For now, we'll call this, say, 10. Did we assign a value to that clock speed? No, let's call it 30. So it should fade out inside of a quarter of a second. All right. All right, let's see. We'll put some constants down here at the bottom that we can use. One's always fun, 0.5 is always fun, 0.25, we're gonna need some others, but for now it should be good. Okay, so we need to do intensity, so, we need over here, we'll need a 255, because that's what we're gonna need for the, I know, I'll put a 0 in here too, 1 times by all. Be surprised how much these numbers start popping up like over and over again. So having reusable sources for them is not always a bad idea. I don't have a 0. Oh, I'll need the 0 for the color stuff. Okay. So half Gaussian equation rearranged. We need multiplier. So we'll need 0.25 times here. Steps. 5 times current number of steps. I'll probably have to throw some hey, Istvan, yay, good morning, evening to you as well. I saw your question. Trying to remember what it was. You left a question on my channel, and I'm always trying to answer questions, but this one fell through the cracks, my friend. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can find it. Comments. Where Istvan? I hope I'm saying that correctly. I noticed that there's an accent Istvan over your name, so I'm guessing it's not North American. But I apologize if I'm being presumptuous. Where are you located, my friend? Yes, the shape of the sub with speed calculation. Yes, it's far more than just speed. It's like your ascent rate and your descent rate, all of it. Like the coefficient of drag is calculated relative to the direction of travel, which is in crazy. Ooh, Hungary. Hungary is one of my favorite tracks in F1. Baku, I believe. Oldest coastal city in the world, I think. Anyways, yes. I don't know what that's called in English. I know that's accent aigu going up in French. I speak a little French, but not nearly as much as I used to. Go gadget. Canadian health education system. All right, so we need an addition. We need subtraction. You should see. Just for poops and giggles, I'm going to show you guys what this looks like in my first attempt, which failed notably. Just a Typhon at 3.2. This monster, thought I had it working, but it just didn't work out as much as I hoped it to. This is where I'm hoping to get to eventually. Hopefully not as complicated, because I couldn't figure out where my mistake was. Yes, wow is the understatement. But see over here, I can break this all up. This is the red and the green calculation. What is this? This is phase timing. This is the relative load calculation, gaps and overlaps. Yeah, it was fun times, except it totally didn't work. So it's more impressive than it looked more impressive than it actually was. What did I call this? Blink machine. Who else? We have multiple viewers. Please don't be afraid to say hi. Okay. Nope, lost him. Not surprised. Subtract. We're gonna need another 0.5. I'm gonna need some relays on these, I suspect. Okay, so that is the Z part of the Gaussian equation. We need a constant times. Oh no, we need to exponent. Oh, gamma. We need to find gamma. Okay, so this one we'll start with like 0.25, I guess. No, we change independently, so this one's gonna stay on its own. Make this a 2. We don't need the 0 yet, so we'll just make it a 2. Music is far more exhilarating than the actual things going on, I feel. Okay. Okay. 2 times gamma squared. All right. So We'll need a multiplication and we'll need a exponentiation. Call that 2. Okay, 2 times that. No, we need to. Oh shit, we're gonna square that too. Okay, and then we need to divide that. I could look up the equation and show you what's going on, but it's basically the Gaussian. If you search LED breathing Arduino on Google, you'll come up with a maker article on breathing, and I'm stealing the equation from it. This is also squared, so that's fine. Signal 1 divided by signal 2, which is this thing. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. Now we have to multiply this by our 255. Oh wait, no, we need to negative. Make it negative first. Like these, learn a lot. At least I think you do copy your circuits. Yeah, I'm trying to understand. Dude, if you have any questions, in case you hadn't noticed, I try to be super helpful all the time. So yeah, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay. It's coming out of here, and it goes in here. Multiplied by this sucker over here. Single out. Okay. Okay, now we need a natural exponent. So E is 2.71828 if I remember correctly. I'm sure there's many more decimal places to that one, but there's not really need for it. Okay, so check this out. Gaussian equation and mother multiplier here. Okay, so this is gonna be our 255 times the output of this sucker. 2.718828 is the actual base of the exponent, and that mess that we just calculated is the top of the exponent. So we put this into, hang on, let's make this well, it's like 25, no, 50 steps. I'll set our clock speed to like 10 or 5, so it takes like 10 seconds. And then we'll take a look at it on a text display here. And before we run it at full speed, make sure it's working. All right. Oh, nope, accidentally deleted our hull. Dead giveaway. Literally dead. Always, yeah. And you know what the easiest way to fix it is to turn off the hull's links and spawn points, and because if you can't see them, it won't let you delete them. Nope. Fell into my little hole. And oh, you know what's going on there? Haha. The problem here is that the I believe it was changing so quickly that it couldn't I had to redo the hulls on one of my subs. Yeah. A fun fact, you can embed ambient lighting into hulls, and it saves you a lot of time. Seek figs. That's really loud. Okay, call it 3. And this one I'm just going to pipe into a Wi-Fi because I know I'm going to be using this one a lot. Hey, hey. I'm guessing you guys are not North America because it's like 2 a.m. Okay. So if you want a trick, one of the problems that you have with these little item displays is they only have like 10 characters. Exponentiation signal in is no, I want this exponent. Okay. The number of characters being so limited is if it has a value that needs to be truncated because it doesn't show over the whole thing, what happens is every time the value changes, it restarts the marquee, which means it pushes the whole value off to the side and you can't see it. On here, I need to put a little marker here so I know what channel this is on. I put that 100? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, fun fact, if you're going to do Wi-Fi channels and stuff, make sure you label everything. Especially when you start going a bunch of them. You can make it hidden in-game and don't need them later. I should just pose a question in Baro Dev Discord and modding. I'm asking if it's possible to make a single affliction apply different overlays at different strengths. Different overlays? You mean modifiers? I mean arc sectors. Alright, so check this out. What I'm going to do here to prevent the marquee truncation thing. We need a round. We need a multiply. Where's the multiply? There's a multiply. The divide, which is going to be up here. Another one of these Wi-Fis. Now you'll notice the Wi-Fi. So this is sig figs. I'm going to start with 3 sig figs, which is decimal places. Overlays in the HUD, like when your character gets really injured and the blood marks up. Okay, yeah, way out of my purview, buddy. I have no idea what's going on there. Alright, so if you have value and you want to, the round function always takes it to an integer, right? It's, no way you can tell it to, oh, I want it to round to 3 decimal places or whatnot. So you multiply by 1,000, then round it, and then divide it by 1,000. And that will give you your 3 decimal places, which instantly is 10 to the 3. So what we can do here is we just say 3 sig figs, 10 times to the power of 10. Oh, 10 in there, that wouldn't have worked. And what, do we have this on channel 100? We do not. Alright, see if this works. No, it's not getting there. Okay, what's going on? We got a 2, we got a 1. We got a 0.5, we got a 0.25, we got a 255, and we have a, oh, we need a -1 here. Oh, we got a 0 up there. Okay, that's progress. Clock speed 5. What's this one doing? Not changing at all. Pulse needs to be 1. Now pulse is going to go right to 5 again. Okay, 5 hertz. Should be going through the fade steps in 10 seconds. It's okay. Developed a mana point system. Wow. Making sure players have without other players knowing. Yeah, you can change your local game files, and like you can. I've changed my crosshair, all sorts of stuff. Zero Lua tool. Yeah, that is pretty cool. All right, so what's going on here? Let's yeah, I'm gonna turn this music off. It's getting really annoying. Okay. So here we got. First of all, go through, make sure you got no empty connections. Yeah, these all look. Oh. Exponentiation. Oh, they're just squaring it, so that's fine. Does this one have another? Is that squared? Yeah, that's also squared. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. What's this one? That's an E. All right. So if that's not going to work, and then we start putting these things everywhere to see if we're getting zeros or whatnot. Yeah, troubleshooting is half the game here. And neat trick, because these games can be start marking and you can't see anything, or the text might not just be showing up at all, it's usually a good idea to put something in there so that if it just doesn't change, you know you're not getting any signal going to the text. What is the humongous? Oh boy, you missed the beginning of the live stream. Just because it was really cool and I want to show it off again, we're gonna take a look at this. This was my first attempt at what we're doing today. I'm trying to animate the reactor so you can look at it and from a distance and know what it's doing. But this worked up to a point and then it failed and I can't find my mistake and I'm too, I don't want to say lazy, overwhelmed to go through that and try again. So I said, screw it. We're gonna start over again. Okay, and so we're gonna start with fading lights. Tell you what. Put relay on here. So we can click it and it should go through the cycle once. Okay. And relay. If this reaches its target signal, oh, that's what the problem was. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go here and set state. There. And then what we can do is we say confirm state open here into this relay. It's not nearly as pretty as it was in the other one. Coding problem is very similar when you get coding accidentally. Yeah, causing it all to fail. Tell me about it. That's one of the reasons why I love MATLAB as much as I do. It's so comprehensive in terms of error catching. Now we're also going to wire this signal out here to the. Oh, why is it going to the adder component? No, it shouldn't be going there. We're going to go in there. Yeah, it's a signal check. Okay, so what's going to happen when I push this button? It's going to open this gate, or the relay. When the relay starts going out to here, and this is, oh, that's where it was going. Okay. And then this is going to go increasing, and then when it hits the target value defined here in fade steps, which should be connected. Yeah, it's right there. Okay. Once it gets there, yeah. What's funny is I went to mechanical engineering. I'm still wound up a computer programmer. 90% of what I do in biomedical engineering is coding, really. Okay, so when it reaches the fade step, so clock speed is like 5 hertz. Fade steps is like 50. Why does this say shape coefficient? We want this to be like when you click this button, it's gonna turn on this relay state 1, and these clock signals are gonna get through here to the plus sign, which are gonna start accumulating in this memory block. When the memory block reaches the same values of fade steps, it's going to reset by setting a 0 to here. It's also going to disable the relay by setting a 0 over there. In theory. Let's see what happens. I don't know why he's still spawning over there and his feet are wet. Oh, right. Relays default to the on position. Right. Where's my spawn point? I don't really like that guy spawning in that ditch, so we're going to go over here. Okay. Okay, fade steps 0, 0, 0, infinity. Interesting. Yeah, well, it's already calculating. That's good. Those should all be ones if they weren't. Okay. Something's not getting through here. Back to 0. Okay, well, why I put the captain spawn there? Because I'm the electrical engineer, man. Captain's got to stay up by the helm, which does absolutely nothing, but yeah, I know it's petty. Okay, why is this infinity? 2.71828. 1. Oh, that should be a -1. That might be our problem. Nope, not our problem. Oh, you can see where I ran into this. Okay, so the goal is to do. Hang on, you're see if I can find the window breathing. Actually, yeah, I'll show you guys the entire thought process. So I found this website here, and it compares all sorts of different breathing equations. Sinusoid, triangle, circle, Gaussian. Gaussian's the nicest one because it's the most adjustable. Scroll past all this crap. Okay, so here's the equation that we're working with up here. Okay, x is the current value from n is the total number of steps. N is the total, x is your current number of steps, y is the shape factor. So you can see here it changes the shape factor. And 0.5 is that one. So what I did is I don't want to use that equation because it's nasty, especially since we want to start at the halfway point every time. So we go to Wolfram Alpha, and we say y equals, what was it? It was x plus n over 2 divided by n. Nope. Minus 0.5. Simplify. And you get, wait, that's not the same thing. That's what I have. Can make this even worse. Squared, which is part of it? Y equals x squared over n squared, expanded forms. Really? That whole thing resolves to x squared over n squared. Huh. So what I got the first time. Well, that makes this easier. Yeah, really. That's like all this stuff is gone. Okay, that was really, really easy. Yeah, when FYI, when you're unwiring stuff, if you see that there's no name, that's how you know it's the thing that needs to be going. Wow, I hope it's that easy. And the other thing is that be prepared to delete everything you make always. Because as soon as you think you're the best at something, yeah, it's something I learned a long time ago. No matter how good you are at something, there's some like 9-year-old Korean kid who's better at it than you are. What was that again? Okay, x squared over n squared. Oh, so much easier. See what happens. Exponentiation x squared over n squared. We need a division block, which is over here. Okay. So this is our x here coming out of this block. Two. The numerator. Steps. Two over here, and okay, so that's just half of it. We still gonna multiply by the shape coefficient. Wow, this is really ugly. It's better. Okay. 2 times that shape equation squared. Exponentiation again. Half of them work as well. Just delete half of them works because of a customer. Yep. Customers are terrible. They are the worst things in existence, but they're necessary. I worked every form of customer service. I've done retail, I've done food service, I've done contract sales, I've done telemarketing, inbound, outbound call centers, and I loved all of it except for the people. In fact, the most fun I ever had was at a pet store. I worked there for 5 years, and I got so many the people would email the company to compliment my customer service, and the managers hated me, but they couldn't fire me. Okay, what am I doing? This is divide. Okay, hang on. We have to multiply. We can make this a -2, can't we? It's the same thing. I will have to change the label to be a negative. Oh, okay. Need to divide. No, this by this and multiply that by this. And that should be it. Well, hands up if you think this is going to work. Yeah. My favorite one is that people come in, they ask you for advice, and then completely ignore it. It's one of the most frustrating things working at a pet store is that people just, it's affecting an animal's quality of life. Oh, we got life. Minus something over 10 seconds. Yeah, it's going to end at 2:55. Nope, keeps on going. All right. Just a curiosity. When I did that Wolfram Alpha thing, did I say x plus n over 2 over n divided by minus 0.5 squared? Okay, whatever. There was this one. So I live in New Brunswick, which is like coastal almost, Atlantic coast of Canada, and it's not really the most technologically advanced. Like the capital, I live in the capital, and there's like 75,000 people. Just to give you an idea, Canada is the third or fourth most sparsely populated country in the world, despite being the second largest. We have like, if you go to, I think Seoul, it's like 25,000 people per square kilometer, and Canada's like 7. Um, so, anyways, shipping stuff across the country is a pain in the ass, especially live animals. And all of our fish come from Hamilton, which is like Ontario, which is central. Idiots are a form of pollution, in my opinion. Um, and we got that in spades. Um, Anyways, this one particular shipment was supposed to arrive on a Tuesday and came in on a Wednesday, and then they packed hundreds of fish in these plastic bags, very limited amounts of oxygen. If they're delayed, it's not a good scene. And this whole day we were cleaning up dead fish all friggin' day, and it was like dead scoop after dead scoop after dead scoop. My hands smelled like dead fish. And so it's like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I'm bagging up some fish for a customer, and you have to write the barcodes on the bag. And as I'm writing the barcode, I'm miserable. And this little girl comes up to me. She says, "Mister, I think this fish is dying." I said, "We're all dying, sweetie. Some of us faster than others." And as soon as I said it, I realized how much of an ass move it was to say this like 6-year-old girl. I look over, and the father's just glaring at me. And it was, yeah, not, again, more complaints to the managers. We're all dying, sweetie. Some of us faster than others. Uh, okay, hang on. What am I doing here? So this is our n. This is n squared. Is it x squared over n squared or n squared over x squared? X squared over n squared. I'm reading that right, aren't I? This is like the x over n. See, here's the thing. So x over n is supposed to be from 0 to 500. But we want to start at half of n. We want to get halfway there. So the equation is x plus n over 2 over n. Minus, I'm going to try that. Simplify. Minus x squared over n squared. False. I love it. See if there's some way to simplify the whole bunch of this. Oh wait, we gotta divide by the shape factor. Damn it. Divided by 2 times it times 0.01 squared. That whole thing in brackets. E to the power of this. This 55. Try that one and simplify that one, Wolfram. Assuming x and y are real. Yeah, it's not helpful. Yeah, I want to be able to change the oh, not y. It's r. 0.5x squared over n squared r squared. Again, so helpful. Ooh. No, I like this one better. Okay. Let's try this again. Delete. Deleted. Yeah, I was going to say forgive me on behalf of my father and doing joke and some prayer like an official priest. Missed the window. Dude, never miss a window. There's always time for good jokes. Nope. There's our shape coefficient. Okay. Let's try this other one. This is why Wolfram Alpha is such a good thing. Man, I'll tell you, date myself. Back in the day when I was an undergrad, you were not allowed to use Expedia as a reference because or Wikipedia as a reference. Expedia. Okay, 0.5x squared. Is it still 0.5? It is still 0.5. Okay. Anyways, nowadays it's like it's the reference. School. Yeah, schools do, but the teachers don't care. They know it's like it's pretty. They pay people to fact check. Now, whether or not they can be trusted is another story. Okay, we need to multiply. Things you think of at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had this teacher in engineering communications, not English. It's not English. Engineers hate English. It was engineering communications. And we had this one guy in our class. His name was Fuad. His last name was Fuad. He was like the leech. He would just cheat off people. He made really good friends with like 2 of the smartest kids in the class and did everything he could to not put effort. And we hated him. There was only 30 students in this class, so when somebody's not pulling their weight, it was pretty obvious. And I would call him on his cell phone constantly in class, and it would ring and piss the teachers off. And so yeah, I'm guessing this is all simplified. 0.5 squared. Okay, and there was this one time I called him, and he went up and out to the bathroom. And I got his cell phone and turned the ringer back on. He came back. He was so confused, and the teacher went back and like this woman was like, it had to be 350 at least. Huge, massive woman shaped like a blueberry, and she picked up a cell phone, and she'd raised 4 sons. 2 of them were SWAT police officers, and 2 of them were NFL players, linebackers. Looking as this woman, I wouldn't doubt it. And I guess she picked up the cell phone, and it's like a February morning. It's snowing. There's like 1.5 feet of snow on the ground. She biffs this phone in like a perfect spiral into the distance. And like, I don't know how you can throw a cell phone as a spiral. Guys, 2 a.m. Leave me alone. I'm struggling here. N squared over R squared. All right. N squared times R squared. 2 more of these exponentiation blocks. Man, that poor guy. We made his life miserable. Now, move these up here. And I don't feel bad about it because the class is better for it. Grade steps is N squared here. N. And maybe I'm a jerk when I say that, but you know what? It was like, I don't know how to describe it. School was better when the teacher slapped us with a ruler and 2 book tests when we misbehaved. I had this teacher in grade 2, Mrs. Murphy. She used to give everybody candy and stars if you like on your name on the board on the wall if you did your homework. But she never brought enough stars and candy for everybody, and I was at the bottom of the list. And I used to get so pissed off because she never, ever had candy, and so that's probably why I never do homework. Did homework. Graduated like an 85% average, but not handing in a single goddamn assignment. I don't recommend it, but it was still pretty cool. Okay, so we need division, which I really wish there was a hot, like, is there a hot, there used to be, like, a favorites. Okay, so this is 0.5 divided by that one. Yeah, physically and verbally. How old are you, buddy? I tell you, don't tell me how old you are in years. Give me a milestone. Like I can remember, it was like August, no, July 17th, 2000. No, it wasn't. It was like 99. It was the last day that I could, uh, the last day that I could fill my car with $20 in gas. Like that was a painful day. I remember looking back thinking, Jesus, this is a moment. Bane beats him to death. It sounds like the Rowan Atkinson skit. You know, Mr. Bean. He does the beating of a student and calls his dad in. He's like, "Yes, I had to give him a beating. It was all fine until he died." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yes, a beating." With books and slapped with rulers by a lot by math and literature teachers. For me, it helped. Um, Helped. Okay. I'm gonna be neutral on that one because it sounds. I can see both sides of that argument. I need a negative one. Man, you think I remember where these go? Okay, we're gonna go over here and pick up this -1. Salute. Move this. Why did that get shifted over? Okay, so that should be negative 0.5 squared, x squared over n squared r squared. Cool. Now we need to put that in a natural algorithm, a natural log. Have you guys ever heard of oh no, what's it called? Constant. Shoot. Saw it today and it was really, really weird. One of those things. It's like, how the hell did somebody find these things? Oh, that's not my history. This is my history. Capricorn's constant. You guys can, if you have a notepad or a piece of paper, it's pretty cool. I think it's 6,147. I think is a constant. You guys haven't heard of it? Let me know when you got a piece of paper. We're gonna do a little math. Okay, where's our exponentiation thing again? Serious, go get a piece of paper, guys. What a coincidence! You have to get rid. It's not. It's very simple math. Yeah, might need a calculator, but just pick a random 4-digit number. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as two of the digits are different. So it can't be 1111. Just two different digits. Right, and you rearrange the numbers from highest to lowest and subtract the same number rearranged from lowest to highest. So if you have, say, 4,312, you would be subtracting 4321, sorry, subtracting 1234 from 4321. If you repeat that process over and over and over again, you will always come back to 6,147. Don't believe me? Try it. Okay. I think we're ready to try this one. See if this works. It started at 255. Oh, it's going down. Hey, that's exactly what we wanted, just backwards. Actually, no, that is exactly what we wanted. Oh God, that was awesome. Hang on. I'm at a loss for words. I wasn't expecting it to work this fast. Let's make this 30, and we'll call it fade steps like 10. Okay, now, wow. Okay, I'm getting excited because it's gonna be cool. Okay. We're gonna use another block later, but for now we'll use concatenate. We want 0, 255, 0, comma. And the other one's going to come out here. Okay, now. Anybody try that math thing? Huh. Okay, fair enough. Now, all right, you have to leave. It's fun. Have a great day. You have a good one. If we do this, it's going to be pulsing. All right, hang on. We got to say, okay, fade steps. Let's do, trying to come up with a way to calculate a good delay between these fade steps. So fade steps are clock speed. Okay, see if this works. Clock speed. Clock speed. Minus fade steps. divided by fade clock speed. Should give us the fraction of a second. Okay. Put the display on that, make sure I got that right, but that was just math off the top of my head. Look at that, we're just enough to put a little display on it. Oh shoot, you know what? I got to we have to divide that by number of segments. Screw it. Let's see what happens. Oh, they're not on. Forgot about that. These lights have to be on. Opposite of what we want. Let's say turn this down a little bit. This little brightness here. Make sure we can see what we're doing. We need to flip this around and say maybe had 255 minus this. That gives us a weird. Dude. Interesting. What time is it? Oh god, it's almost 3 a.m. Okay. I don't wind this up soon. We'll pick up on this tomorrow, I suppose. Not right now. I want to give this a couple more tries. I try dividing this by the number of segments. Won't do that. We'll do yeah. Have to break all these connections. That's unfortunate. Divider. You know what? We're gonna say break that connection from this thing so it doesn't turn the relay off after one round. It should just go round and round and round. And we're gonna say toggle. And let's turn these lights up a little bit. I said turn out the lights a little bit. Nope, and deleted the hull. God damn it. Let's see. Hmm. Why don't they go completely black? That's what I'm trying to understand. Hmm. See what's going on here. See, like those should not be still glowing. What is going on? Going. Now my wiring's starting to get ugly. That you can tell when I'm getting tired. Lamp. It's all just proof of concept anyways. Make it much more organized later. It's the worst part is when you make something nice and pretty and it doesn't work. I'll tell you what I do want to do. I like eventually like the lamps themselves are gonna be gone. So let's see what happens when we do that. We can only do our best. Um have you ever heard of a guy named Vince Lombardi? He was NFL coach, Green Bay Packers, if I remember correctly. Probably got that wrong, but anyways, he said something, and you can take this to the bank. This is one of the most true things I've ever heard, and my dad taught it to me. Perfect or practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. This negative thing here. This is not what's supposed to be going on, so we'll take this out of the way. Yep. Ah, indeed. Now let's see what happens. That's more what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for, just maybe not so fast. Um, mm, I don't think the clock works to like 40, but we'll try it like this, see what happens. Hmm. I'm wondering if it, oh, you know what's going on? I think I know what's going on here. It missed the target signal. It happened so fast it didn't collapse it, so we have to replace it with a greater than block. Thankfully, we can change the true output of the greater than block to 0. I bet you that worked. We'll see. Oh, awesome. Hmm. Oh, it's probably gonna be clock speed minus. You guys see what I'm going for here? This little effect. Interesting that they all light up at the same time. I do something fucky with You watch the beginning to tell what's going on. It's sharing company is a good way to put it. And there's like 3 other people that are watching and not saying anything. So I'll try to explain this what's going on. So I had a little video that I put together at the beginning. Hang on here. Files, gaming nerd, trauma, videos, random. This one. So as far as I can think of in sci-fi, there's reactors that pulse, right? Reactors that generally you could look at them, and the faster they pulse and the more they change color, the more that's actually a bad thing, right? And it goes back as far as sci-fi, like the first ones that I can think of. I remember seeing reactors that pulse, and even if it's not a reactor, generally if it's pulsing and pulsing faster and getting brighter, you're about to have a bad day. Um, so yeah, that's all from movies I plucked off YouTube. Those aren't mine. So the goal is to produce. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I can show you actually. Hang on. Let's make these visible again. And we'll build one of these things here. Right? Over here. Turn it 90 degrees. Stick it here. Right? Put this one over here. Turn it 90 degrees. Right there. Right? Yeah, with exactly. Fuck coding. Who needs code? I have these tiny squares. Think? Oop, that's a nuclear reactor. Again, this is all not just about it's about the journey, as they say. Um, yeah, there's like if I do wind up making this, it's gonna be a mod. It's not gonna be something I can do in here. And you're right, particles would be very cool, but then, right? So now we have this. and change color and make it go faster. Must go faster, must go faster. Let's change this to see what happens here. Okay. There we go. Something like that. Oh, oh man. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm going for. Make this say 20. Oh. Still can't read it, are they? We make a change color based well, I was gonna make a change color based on the power being drawn from it. Right, so the more you draw power from its max power, the faster it's gonna go. Right? Maybe you could make the change color based on temperature and the pulse rate based on power consumption. The possibilities are not endless, but numerous. And the best part is you can hide these things. Then, oh, then everything, all the lights get rave. See, there we go. That's what I'm kind of looking for. Now, it was originally supposed to be this fusion reactor from EK Mods, but that's probably the easiest way to demo what I want to do. Yeah, it's 3:06. I should probably can this shit and go to bed. Well, hang on. I want to show off that little thing that I was talking about. Hang on here. Crap. What's the path? It's user. Oh, yeah, user. Local. Not lab. Nope. Hey, I remembered it. Okay. To pick a number from 4-digit number. I know this is dumb, but I found this really cool. Certain constants, like how the hell did somebody come up with this? But Copernicus or whatever the constant. Somebody give me a 4-digit number before we go to bed. Come on. Okay, 4269. All right. So if you take 4269 and rewrite those in order, it's 949642, and then you say minus 2469. Right? And now you repeat the process. You say 7731 minus 1377. Oh, we're getting there. So 6543 minus 3456. And we say, oh wait, did I do that right? Yeah. 78730 minus 378. Hang on, I'm doing something wrong. Should be getting bigger. Anyways, 8532 minus 2358. 61. Oh, 61. No, 67641 minus 1467. See? Always comes down to 6174. Yeah, surprise, surprise, I lost the last viewer. Except for Baro. Baro is killer. Streamy, you didn't say anything. It was you. That's okay. The universe is amazing. I'll tell you a quick story. I love telling stories. Do you want a programming story or you want an astronomy story? I had two. Which one? You gotta pick one. Astronomy or programming? We do both. I'm gonna be here an hour. Okay, Cassini mission. The Cassini mission was an orbiter that went around Saturn, and it was to take as many photographs as it could during its lifetime. When I say during its lifetime, it means during the period. Let's see if I can find little visuals while we do this. Um, see, anyways, the point is that there's two power sources on most satellites. One of them is the compressed gas that it holds internally that they use for tiny little, very tiny corrections because they only have a limited amount of gas. They have to make it last years and years and years. Um, and the other one is something called Peltier junction. So diodes are typically made from two dissimilar metals pressed against each other. You pass electricity through them, fun things happen. Peltier junctions are really unique, where if you pass electricity across one direction, one side gets hot, one side gets cold. You pass electricity in the other direction, one side gets the opposite happens. The other side gets cold, and the other side gets hot. But what's really fun is that if you heat up one side and cool the other, it generates electricity. And if you heat the other side and cool the other side, it generates electricity in the opposite direction. Not a whole ton of a lot of electricity, but enough to power, say, tiny satellite. And if you want to talk about something that stays warm for thousands of years, you take a chunk of plutonium and you've got the cold vacuum space on the other side. You have a hot side and cold side. So most satellites since like the 80s use what they call oh shit, nuclear nuclear thermal cells or something like that. Anyways, the point is, during the Cassini mission, we discovered that Titan, I think it's Titan, one of the moons of Saturn, has water. Water is a criteria for life. More than anything else in the universe, we believe that water constitutes life, or the possibility of life. Um, and so they've realized, these scientists realized that at one point in time in the future, many, many years, because NASA's famous for redundant systems, um, at some point in the future, they would lose control of the Cassini spacecraft. And um, when that happened, they would lose the ability to prevent it from going into the moon. Not that it would guarantee to happen, but if on the off chance that it would collide with the moon, they would not want to corrupt this um, potential biome with nuclear waste, dumping the satellite into the planet and potentially killing the first non-Earth based life that we ever encountered. Right, that'd be kind of a bad start. So the Cassini, if you look at this thing here, the Cassini has, yeah, here's the original portion. Cassini has two great big things. One is a huge dish, and the other one is a huge heat shield. And it was using the heat shield to protect itself from various sources of radiation. And so what they did is that they used that last little bit of gas to edge the Cassini closer and closer and closer and closer to Saturn. And eventually, what would happen was it would get squashed up. Like Saturn is a gas giant, but there's so much gravity that the core of Saturn is like solid helium, if I remember correctly. It's like it's so much insane amounts of pressure. But rather than running this satellite with like the shield protecting itself, they ran it with the high gain antenna pointed at Earth as long as possible. And we got some of these crazy, crazy pictures just before impact, like things we never ever thought we'd see. And it was like yeah, oh yeah, it was really really cool. Um, since we're on astronomy kick, and I want time for one more story. Do you guys know the 7 minutes of terror? Or you, Pero, do you know the 7 minutes of terror? So when they sent the first land, not this first lander, so the first lander to land on, hang on, what are the Mars rovers? There's Curiosity, there's Perseverance, and uh, there's three of them, isn't there? Curiosity, Perseverance, no, it's wrong. That's the other one. Sojourner. Okay, so the Curiosity was like it landed in a balloon. It was kind of clever. They took this quadra tetrahedron thing. No, that's the wrong one. Where's the balloon? This one. Haha, Spirit. Okay. So basically, how do you land something in it very carefully on another planet? What they did is they covered in balloons, right? Like it just before it hit the ground, poof, like all these balloons come out. Giant, like these things are like a meter across each. And like the little thing does its best to slow it down and it cuts it loose and the thing just bounces around, right? And what's neat is that through a clever how you decide which ones to deflate in which order, you can decide which face of this tetrahedron is pointing down or which ones are pointing up, right? So there's no way in hell this thing could land upside down because they just deflate the balloons in such an order that it would line itself back up. This was neat, but the Spirit was the Spirit, yeah, the Spirit was tiny. It's like the size of a remote control car, probably a little bit bigger, depending on how big your remote control cars are. But the Curiosity was a really, because that thing's the size of a friggin' Volkswagen, right? But the thing about the landing was that they couldn't. They were talking communications like what, 8 minutes or something back and forth from Mars. Um, but they, I mean, how do we visuals? It has to be CGI. No. We sent a crew ahead with cameras. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just. It is definitely has to be CGI. 7 minutes of terror. So the thing is that they have no communication with the satellite when it, or sorry, with the lander as it goes, right? So once they start the process of landing, they have to. Hang on. And the thing is, just like if you think about the orbital, hang on, I'm getting later and later. Hang on, Mars lander trajectory. If you think about like how long, here it is. Okay, we flung this thing from Earth here, and it took like 8 months or 10 months or something to get to where it's going. And it's like if you think about I think it was this one. Yeah, this will be a better animation. If you think about how long, like there you go, there's my even how hard it is. You're hitting a bullet with another bullet. That takes 8 months to get to where it's going, right? So kind of a big deal. So they have communication the whole way, but then once once entry starts, they have to stop communicating with this thing, and there's 7 minutes before they have any inclination of whether it succeeded or failed. Right? So here's how they did it. So first of all, they got to get through the minuscule atmosphere that's there. Heat shield, once it's done, like anything else with NASA, exploding bolts, puff, off it goes. Drogue chute pops out, and money. So the heat shield comes loose, and now we start to see this thing. Now, what's cool is that they got like a rocket helicopter. So right now this thing's taking pictures as it goes, looking for a good landing spot. And so here we go. So now the Volkswagen's on this little, underneath this little rocket helicopter thing. And it descends, but doesn't go all the way down because the dust that it would kick up would really be a pain in the ass for the crew because it would contaminate all the sensors on this thing. So this thing starts lowering the lander from way up, right? And again, it doesn't want to land this helicopter thing nearby because it could crash into the lander. So the last thing that this delivery vehicle does as it lands is once the cables are cut, it fucks off. It just takes off and lands, piles into a crater in another mountain. But NASA, being true opportunists that they are, they have several satellites in orbit pointing at the crash site of the lander, like the delivery vehicle, because they can use the dust impact, the dust that comes up from that impact. They can make geological conclusions based on what the visual properties. Remember, they don't have people on the ground. They only have satellites that can take pictures of shit from orbit. This thing, watch the cables detach, off it goes. Whee! Oh, nice knowing you. Woo! Off to crash somewhere else. And they don't show it. Oh, that would have been epic. But anyways, that's that's how you land. Oh, hang on. See that thing there? That big square thing at the back? That's the battery, the thermal cell that I was just talking about. That's the battery thing. Okay. One last question. What is the furthest object from space? I think it's, yeah, plutonium. Hang on. Do. Anyways, what's the furthest object from space? From man-made object from Earth in space? Yeah, furthest object from Earth. Furthest man-made object from Earth in space. I'm gonna try to tell the story as I remember it because I don't know if I remember it exactly. So everybody just thinks it's gonna be like Voyager 1 would be with the Voyager 1 has left the oh, what's it called? The heliosphere. Basically, you know the way the Earth has like yeah, you'd think so. And that's Voyager 1 left a long fucking time ago, and it's been moving real quick ever since it's left. But during the Cold War, the United States was, hang on, I'll show you a little animation here. Nuclear tests while I'm talking. Nobody tests weapons. Can't type. Nobody tests weapons like the United States does. This is a time lapse of all the nuclear tests done on the planet since 1945. Right, so the first one was Trinity. It was in Los Alamos. The boom is the relative size here. So, and there's a clock at the top right that's year and month. So Hiroshima and Nagasaki were the next two bombs. Believe it or not, there was only one test. One test. And believe it or not, this is relevant to the astronomy thing. So that's number two, second nuclear explosion ever on the planet, right? Now I'm going to skip forward a little bit here. What you're going to see is like different colors, right? United States is blue, Russia's red, China's yellow. I think China's yellow. Anyways, the point is that there's tests all over the place. United States does like, I think, more than everybody else combined. And then the U.S. population starts to hear about these things called fallout, and they start realizing that the amount of testing that they do is putting a lot of shit in the air. And even though they're doing it in like the middle of New Mexico, which is a goddamn desert, they get still, and public gets antsy about it, and so they decree that all nuclear tests in the United States have to be either, or no, all in the world has to be either suborbital or below ground. And I'm going to skip to the end of this thing because I do a summary thing. Hang on. 2053. Keep that total in mind. There's the. Okay, here we go. There we go. This is the. Where's the states? 1945 to 1998 was the last nuclear test. That's Pakistan. I think. Oh, that's China. This is the sped up time lapse over the entire timeline. France, of course, right in the middle of the Pacific. Beautiful, beautiful Virgin Islands. Fuck it, we're gonna blow it up with some nukes. Anyways, so the public gets really antsy and they demand that all these tests be performed underground so there's no fallout, because that's what happens to nuclear fallout, right? It doesn't go anywhere if it's underground. So the first one they do, I think it's Upshot Cannikin, if I remember correctly. They dig this like 4-meter wide hole. No, anyways, really wide hole. Drop a nuke to the bottom of it, and they weld this huge steel plate. Like we're talking 4 inches thick and easily 5 or 6 feet wide over the top. It's welded down. And the nuke goes off, and they do the test, and they go to check it out, and the plate's gone. And 1,032 tests from 1945 to 1998. Oh no, yeah, you think Russia's bad? Look at the states. They're all over the goddamn map, literally all over the map. And those are not animations, those are all like individual tests. So 2,053 tests, 1,032 of which was United States. Anyways, yeah, Upshot, Cannikin, no. Anyway, so they go in here and they test this bomb, and it goes off underground. And it's like this huge explosion, destruction, decimation. Everybody's expecting it, right? But then what they go there and they don't find is this plate gone. And so they set up with like the fastest high-speed cameras that they have at the time. They point at this plate and they repeat the test. And they weld another plate on top of this test. and it's gone. It's like, I think it's 12,000, 13,000 frames per second. Either way, no, it's like 70,000 frames per second because the plate was visible after the explosion for precisely 1 frame. And the guy did the math, and it was like 2,000 miles per second or something, some obscene speed. And it would have passed Voyager 1 in like a week. Despite all the millions of miles of Voyager's gone, it would have passed it in an unbelievably short period of time. And so, really, the answer is that not just the one furthest man-made object in space is a metal plate sailing through like thousands of miles per second. There's two of them. Because the first one went too. And also my favorite channel, guys. One of my other favorite channels is Winter Dawn. If you, I mean, that's another giant ball of cats. But check out his channel, support him if you get the chance. He's pretty cool. Making a giant music machine. All right. I'm gonna stop talking because I'm just gonna keep going. My YouTube feed is weird. Paro, do you have any questions for me? Specific? Did you get 220 million views? Yeah. Oh yeah. Hang on here. That's 6 years ago too. Hang on. I don't think. Well, yeah, he's making his career. 2.53 million subscribers. Oh, the dreams. One day. Hang on, popular. This is from 6 years ago. You ever seen those little tiny piano things, like the little music box? You twist the thing. This guy's got a drums. He's got a xylophone. He's got a guitar. He's got all sorts of shit on this thing. He is friggin' genius. And this is the 6 years ago one. You want to see a new one? He's got where's the new one? Videos recently uploaded. His 8,000 run or 80,000 marble run was a couple weeks ago. 30,000, but they're like, look at this thing. It's a beast. Anyways, I'm gonna stop supporting other people's channels. Oh, look at this. I start showing us somebody else's shit and they start coming to my channel. Before I check out, guys, roll call. Who's here? Paro's here. Who else? We got 3 viewers. Yeah. I could spend hours just going through my YouTube finds. Oh, so many years. I'm sure if you total up the years I've spent watching YouTube, you'd probably find years. Your shadows. Stay present. Oh, you got VPNs or viewing me at the same time. Oh, no, we scared them away. Well, shit. Average view time. Live, 1 hour, 38 minutes. Average view time, 8 minutes. Story of my stream, man. All right, guys. Well, let's just before we go, let's take a look at our handiwork. It was, wasn't it? Yeah, let's look at our handiwork. We got a little glowy bits here. And for what it's worth, I should make them blue. Should really make them blue. Because it would line up with chair and cover radiation. Have you ever seen like an actual reactor startup? Because it works. It's really loud. Hang on. Nuclear startup. I'm gonna turn the sound on with. Oh wait, damn. Hang on. That was too quick. Startup. Where's the timer? This is the launch of. Nope. Quiet YouTube. There we go. So, fun facts about reactors when they start up is that they don't use they don't use plutonium or uranium to start a nuclear reactor. They use something called californium because it offputs a shit ton of neutrons. Yes. I think I saved it once or twice or 5 times, possibly 30. Look up californium. Its half-life is remarkably tiny. But that's what they use to start. Yeah, the demon core. Yeah. My diploma of nuclear engineering, which I had to get my master's at Carnegie Mellon in less than a year. I had reactors design course because I didn't have any other courses that I could take. And let me tell you, there's a lot of really, really scary shit that can happen, and they have like 9 levels of redundancy just to make sure it doesn't. I could go on rant for that for like a long time, but I'm not going to do that because it's far past my bedtime. Baro, thanks for sticking around. Everybody watching after the fact, please don't forget to stay nerdy. Have a good night, guys.